Hello everyone. Today let us discuss on the first part of preparation of processed products of fruits and vegetables. In this part we'll discuss about the preparation of jam, jelly, marmalade, preserve, candy, pickles, chutney, ketchup and sauces. India, with diverse soil and climate type comprising several agroecological regions, provides ample opportunity to grow a variety of crops. India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world after China. But due to the short shelf life of these crops, as much as 20 to 30% of fruits and vegetables perish during harvest, storage, grading, transport, packaging, and distribution. Hardly 2% of perishable horticultural produce is processed into value added products. Hence, there is huge scope for processing of fruit and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are processed into a variety of sugar based products such as jams, jellies, marmalades, candies, sauces, and other unfermented beverages and fermented beverages. They are also preserved using oil and spices like in pickles and chutneys, etc. Now we will discuss about the preparation of jam. Jam is a product made by boiling fruit pulp with sufficient quantity of sugar to a reasonably thick consistency, firm enough to hold the fruit tissue in position. Apple, sapota, papaya, plums, mango, grapes, jackfruit, pineapple, banana, guava, and pears are used for preparation of jam. It can be prepared from one kind of fruit or from two or more kinds. The FPO specification of jam is 68.5% TSS, 45% of fruit pulp, and 0.5 to 0.6% of acid per 100 gram of the prepared product. The flow chart for the preparation of jam is as shown here. Ripe firm fruits, washing, peeling, pulping, addition of sugar, boiling, addition of citric acid, judging of endpoint by further cooking up to 105 degrees Celsius or 68 to 70% TSS or by sheet test, filling hot in sterilized bottles, cooling, waxing, capping, and storage. For judging the endpoint of the preparation of jam can be judged by either drop test, sheet or flake test, refractometer test, or boiling test. Next is preparation of jelly. A jelly is a semi-solid product prepared by boiling a clear strained solution of pectin containing fruit extract, free from pulp after the addition of sugar and acid. A perfect jelly should be transparent, well set, but not too stiff and should have the original flavor of the fruit. It should be of attractive color and keep it safe when removed from the mold. It should be firm enough to retain sharp edges but tender enough when it is pressed. It should not be gummy, sticky or syrupy or have crystallized sugar. The product should be free from dullness with little or no synersis and neither tough nor rubbery. The FPO specification for jelly should have 65% solids, 45% fruit extract and 0.5 to 0.75% acid. Guava, sour apple, plum, caronda, wood apple, papaya and jackfruit are rich in pectin and generally used for preparation of jelly. Pineapple, strawberry, grapes, etc. can be used, but only after addition of pectin powder because these fruits have low pectin content. Some important considerations in jelly making is as follows. Pectin, acid, sugar, and water are the four essential ingredients. Pectin tests and determination of endpoint of jelly formation are very important for the quality of jelly. Now the next product is marmalade. This is a fruit jelly in which slices of the fruit or its peel are suspended. The term is generally used for products made from citrus fruits like oranges and lemons in which shredded peels is used as the suspended material. Citrus marmalades are classified into number 1 jelly marmalade and number 2 jam marmalade. The FPO specification of marmalades are TSS should be 65% and fruit juice should be 45%. Flowchart for the preparation of jelly marmalade is shown here. Fruit, which should be ripe but not overripe. Washing, cutting into thin slices, boiling with water, addition of citric acid during boiling, straining of extract, pectin test, addition of sugar, boiling, judging of endpoint by sheet drop or temperature test, removal of scum or foam, color and remaining citric acid added, filling hot into clean sterilized bottles, waxing, capping, storage at ambient temperature. Number 2. Jam marmalade. The method preparation is practically the same as that of jelly marmalade. In this case, the pectin extract of fruit is not clarified and the whole pulp is used. The next is the preparation of preserve. A mature fruit or vegetable or the pieces impregnated with heavy sugar syrup till it becomes tender and transparent is known as a preserve. Apple, pear, mango, cherry, caronda, strawberry, pineapple, papaya, etc. can be used for making preserves. Fruits may be cooked in syrup by 3 processes as given here. Number 1. Rapid process. Second process is slow process. Third process is vacuum process. Number 1. Rapid process. The fruits are cooked in low sugar syrup. Boiling is continued with gentle heating until the syrup becomes sufficiently thick. Soft fruits such as strawberries and raspberries, which require very little boiling for softening. Unlike hard fruits like apples, pears, and peaches, which require prolonged heating, can be safely cooked in heavy syrup. The final concentration of sugar should not be less than 68%, which corresponds to a boiling point of 106 degrees Celsius. The second process is the slow process. Here, the fruit is blanched until it becomes tender. Sugar equal to the weight of the fruit is then added to the fruit in alternate layers, and the mixture is allowed to stand for 24 hours. The next day, the syrup is boiled after removal of the fruit to raise its strength to about 60% total soluble solids. A small quantity of citric or tartaric acid at a rate of 1 to 1.5 gram per kg sugar is also added to invert a portion of the canned sugar and thus prevent crystallization. The whole mass is then boiled for 4 to 5 minutes and kept for 24 hours. On the third day, the strength of the syrup is raised to about 65% total soluble solids by boiling. The fruit is then left in the syrup for a day. Finally, the strength of the syrup is raised to 70% total soluble solids and the fruits are left in it for a week. The preserve is now ready and is packed in containers. Then the third process is the vacuum process. Here, the fruit is first softened by boiling and then placed in the syrup, which should have 30 to 35% total soluble solids. The fruit syrup blend is then transferred to a vacuum pan and concentrated under reduced pressure to 70% total soluble solids. Preserves made by this process retain the flavor and color of the fruit better than by any other two means. The fruits are drained free of syrup and filled in dry containers or glass jars. Freshly prepared boiling syrup containing 68% total soluble solid is then poured into the jar or container, which are then sealed airtight. The next is candied fruits and vegetables. A fruit or vegetable impregnated with cane sugar or glucose syrup and subsequently drained free of syrup and dried is known as candied fruit or vegetable. The most suitable fruits for candying are amla, karonda, pineapple, cherry, papaya, apple, peach, peels of orange, lemon, grapefruit, citron, ginger, etc. The process of making candied fruit is practically similar to that of preserve. The only difference is that the fruit is impregnated with syrup having higher percentage of sugar or glucose. The total sugar content of the impregnated fruit is kept at about 75% to prevent fermentation. Now the flowchart for preparation of preserve and candies is shown here. Mature fruit, washing, preparation for sugar treatment, keeping fruit and sugar in alternate layers, removal of fruit, increasing consistency of syrup to 60% TSS by boiling, steeping of fruit, repeating the process and raising strength of syrup by 5% TSS to 70% TSS for preserve and 75% TSS for candies. For candy preparation, steeping in 75% TSS for a week, draining, then set drying, packing, and storage. And for preserve preparation, after raising the syrup consistency to 70% TSS, steeping in this syrup for a week, then preserve this form, draining, filling in jar or container, covering fruit with freshly prepared sugar syrup of 68% TSS, sealing, storage. Then the next product is glazed fruits and vegetables. Covering of candied fruit or vegetable with a thin transparent coating of sugar which imparts them a glossy appearance is known as glazing. The next is crystallized fruits or vegetables. Candied fruits or vegetables, when covered or coated with crystals of sugar, either by rolling in finely powdered sugar or by allowing sugar crystals to deposit on them from a dense syrup, is called crystallized fruits. The next product is chutneys. A good quality chutney should be palatable and appetizing. The method of preparation of chutney is similar to that for jam, except that spices, vinegar, and salt are added. The fruits or vegetables are peeled, sliced, or grated, or cut into small pieces and cooked in water until they become sufficiently soft. Chopped onion and garlic are added at the start to mellow their strong flavors. Spice and vinegars are added just before the final stage of cooking. These chutneys are cooked to the consistency of jam to avoid fermentation. The next product is pickle. The preservation of food in common salt or in vinegar is known as pickling. It is one of the most ancient methods of preservation of fruits and vegetables. Pickles are good appetizers and add to the palatability of a meal. Pickling is the result of fermentation by lactic acid forming bacteria, which are generally present in large numbers on the surface of fruits and vegetables. This bacteria can grow in acid medium and in the presence of 8 to 10% salt solution, whereas the growth of a majority of undesirable organisms is inhibited. Lactic acid bacteria are most active at 30 degrees Celsius. So, this temperature must be maintained as far as possible in the early stage of pickle making. At present, pickles are prepared with salt, vinegar, oil, or with a mixture of salt, oil, spices, and vinegar. These methods are described here. Number 1. Preservation with salt. Salt improves the taste and flavor and hardness of the tissues of vegetables and controls fermentation. Salt content of 15% or above prevents microbial spoilage. This method of preservation is generally used only for vegetables which contain very little sugar and hence sufficient lactic acid cannot be formed by fermentation to act as preservative. However, some fruits like lime, mango, etc. are also preserved with salt. The next is preservation with vinegar. A number of fruits and vegetables are preserved in vinegar whose final concentration in terms of acetic acid in the finished pickle should not be less than 2%. To prevent dilution of vinegar below this strength by the water liberated from the tissues, the vegetables or fruits are generally placed in strong vinegar of about 10% strength for several days before pickling. This treatment helps to expel the gases present in the intercellular spaces of vegetable tissue. Vinegar pickles are the most important pickles consumed in other countries. Mango, garlic, chilies, etc. are preserved as such in vinegar. The next method is preservation with oil. The fruits of vegetables should be completely immersed in edible oil. Cauliflower, lime, mango, and turnip pickles are the most important oil pickles. The next is preservation with mixture of salt, oil, spices, and vinegar. In this type of pickle, mixture of salt, oil, spice, and vinegar is used. Now, the next product is sauerkraut. It is highly popular in some countries of Europe and in the USA. Sauerkraut means acid cabbage. It is a clean, wholesome product with a characteristic flavor obtained by complete fermentation of shredded cabbage in the presence of 2 to 3% salt. Sauerkraut, which has been rebrined in the process of canning or repacking, contains not less than 1% acid expressed as lactic acid. Thus, it is the product of lactic acid bacterial fermentation of cabbage under conditions favoring the production of lactic acid, acetic acid, alcohol, and carbon dioxide. Now, the next is preparation of sauces and ketchups. There is no essential difference between sauce and ketchup. However, sauces are generally thinner and contain more total solids, a minimum of 30%, than ketchup, whose minimum is around 28%. Tomato, apple, papaya, walnut, soybean, mushrooms, etc. are used for making sauces. Sauces or ketchup are prepared from more or less the same ingredient and in the same manner as chutney, except that the fruit or vegetable pulp or juice used is sieved after cooking to remove the skin, seeds, and stalks of the fruits, vegetables, and spices, and to give a smooth consistency to the final product. However, cooking takes longer because fine pulp or juice is used. The next is the preparation of puree and paste. Tomato pulp without skin or seeds, with or without added salt, and containing not less than 9% of salt-free tomato solid is known as medium tomato puree. It can be concentrated further to heavy tomato puree, which contains not less than 12% solids. If this is further concentrated so that it contains not less than 25% tomato solid, it is known as tomato paste. On further concentration to 33% or more of solids, it is called concentrated tomato paste. Now, coming to the conclusion. Fruits and vegetables are an important supplement to the human diet as they provide the essential minerals, vitamins, and fiber. But in India, due to its highly perishable nature and poor post-harvest infrastructure, 20 to 30% of the produce goes into waste. Preparation of sugar-based products like jam, jelly, marmalade, candies, etc., pickling and preparation of sauces and chutney is one of the most important aspects of home-scale preservation as well as industrial-level processing of fruits. These methods of preservation is principally based on reduction in moisture content so as to erase the microbial spoilage.